Hello learners, I am Nalini Rajagovindan, educationist. Welcome to my channel Vaira Citadel. I hope my last video on research aptitude was useful to many of you. Today in this short video, we are going to discuss an important topic in research aptitude, namely positivism and post-positivism. And it is very important in the sense that these philosophical approach, these two are actually philosophical approach in research, positivism and post-positivism. And these philosophical approach actually is going to determine your research paradigm, and it is going to determine your research approach, what approach you are going to use. And also it is going to determine your research method, and hence in turn your research tools and data analysis. So that is why it is very important and it is imperative that you know about these concepts. And this video is very short, consisting only of this topic on positivism and post-positivism. And because many of my friends have suggested to me to make more videos of shorter duration and more frequently. Currently, I am publishing weekly 2 videos, one in Tamil and one in English, each roughly of 1 hour duration. Now, after hearing this suggestion, I am planning to make more videos every week and of shorter duration. In this regard, I need your feedback. So viewers, please feel free to send in your requirements in the comment box. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to my channel Vaira Citadel and click the bell icon. Now let's get into our business. As I have told you that both positivism and post-positivism, they are actually philosophical system or a philosophical approach, and so that which are entirely opposite in nature. Actually, this post-positivism came into existence after 20th century, and before it was purely positivism. And post-positivism came into existence in opposition to the tenets of positivism. So we will see what is positivism. It is a philosophical system which believes in scientific method only, because they always believe in scientific method. What is scientific method? Proving something, or empirical method. What is empirical method? You have to, in order to believe something, you have to experience it, you have to touch it, you have to feel it, you have to do it, or you have to listen to it, you have to, uh, you know, so seeing is believing. So they always believe in scientific method. So they believe that there exists the real truth, what we are in the research. We are always after finding out the truth, what exists truly. So what is the being? What is the nature of the being? So in positivism believe that there exists something externally which you can prove, which you can see. So they believe in absolute reality. On the other hand, the post-positivism, they don't believe in absolute reality, but they believe the truth varies from person to person. It is in the eyes of the beholder. For example, beauty. We say the beauty is in the eye of the beholder. It is based on the person's perception. So what may appear as beauty to one person may not appear as beautiful to the other person, isn't it? So that is what is subjective reality. And they believe in critical reality. There is always for them, the truth is in multiples, plurality. So methodological plurality, there exist many truths which may vary from person to person. But positivism believes in the objective reality. There exists something which is truthful. So it is not so. Even there's quantum theory, quantum experiments have now proved that there exists nothing which is absolute. Everything is relative. We know that time, weight, distance, beauty, honesty, they are all, you cannot show them, you cannot prove them, only you can feel them. So it varies from person to person, so which is subjective reality. And positivism always believes in proving, proof. They ask for proof because for them there exists something independent of the mind, away from the mind. What we say in education field, mind, people say the social actor, sociological people or business people, they say the social actor. That is we. I am a social actor and you are a social actor. So anybody in the society is a social actor. So according to post-positivism, the truth varies from one social actor to another social actor. From mind to mind, it differs. But for positivism, it is the same for all. Truth is the same. Only one truth, which you can prove. So they believe in proving. They ask for proof everything. But post-positivism, they believe in exploring and bring out the different realities, because two different observers observe different realities. So this is the basic difference between positivism and post-positivism. It is exactly the opposite of positivism because it came into existence in opposition to the basic principles of positivism. So we have seen that these two approaches, positivism and post-positivism, they are diagonally opposite in their approach, in their philosophy. They use different research methods, or they use different research approach. And in positivism, the positivist people, they use quantitative approach. We have already seen the difference between quantitative research and what is qualitative research, and what are the differences. We listed out a lot of differences. And so they usually they employ the positivism, those who are following the positivism philosophy, they prefer to use quantitative research, quantitative approach, and scientific method, empirical methods, in order to prove something. And you know that quantitative approach, it starts, they use always deductive in nature, starts with the generalization, then goes to the example, that is rule egg. Starting with the rule, you prove the with the examples, you prove the rule. And it is hypothesis testing, and they use different sampling methods. So we saw various differences in the other video. And the post-positivism researchers, they usually use qualitative approach, the qualitative research methods, where it is usually inductive methods. They start with they don't start with hypothesis, but they start with the examples, egg rule. They collect the samples, they go from the examples to the generalization. So it is the bottom-up approach as against the top-down approach in deductive reasoning. And also they don't believe in scientific method alone, but they believe in logical methods. They believe in instincts, and they don't always ask for proof because they believe in the plurality of truth. They know the truth is subjective. They collect the samples from many, and they come to the they explore, they discover the truth, and they know it is subjective. And they just blindly, they don't follow scientific method. They combine common sense or logic along with scientific method. Not that they completely avoid the scientific method. They use scientific methods with logic, inductive, deductive, with common sense, instincts. They believe in instincts also. And in positivism, they use probability sampling. And this we will be discussing more in the sampling video. But now I briefly tell you what is probability sampling and non-probability sampling. And in quantitative methods, we use probability sampling. And so in positivism, the sampling method used is probability sampling. It means that what is sample? We collect a few samples in a whole of population. We don't do that survey, or we don't do that experiment, or we don't do that interview with all the people in the population, but only we take out a sample, and it should be representative sample. And this sampling, so each element in the population will have equal chance of being selected or being included in the study. So we know the proportion, we know the chances of the each element of being selected. So it is the probability of being selected, we know. So each element has the equal chance of being included in the study. That is probability sampling. We follow a different method that we will be discussing in sampling methods. And also in non-probability sampling, which is also called non-random sampling. Probability sampling is random sampling, and non-probability sampling is also known as non-random sampling. Here we cannot determine the probability of each element being included in the sampling. So here, because the researcher adopts methods such as convenient methods, judgment method, or quota method. So according to his judgment, he selects these samples. So we cannot say that each element of the population will have equal chance. All the elements have the equal chances of being selected in the sample. We cannot say that in non-probability sampling. So the chances of being selected for all the elements are not the same. Some are preferred in comparison to the others because of the researcher's judgment. So that is called non-probability. In qualitative approach, you have the liberty to use non-probability sampling. But in quantitative approach, which are adopted by positivist people, researcher, they use probability sampling. And usually the findings are generalizable. The conclusion is generalizable in positivism. As I have told you, that whatever findings you arrive at from the sample is generalizable to all the entire population. But in the case of post-positivism, or in the qualitative approach, this generalization to all the population is not possible. It is only context-bound generalizability is possible because we have selected a few samples. The number is lesser here in qualitative methods. When compared to quantitative approach, the number will be large. The sample will be large, and here the number in qualitative method, the sample number is lesser, and it is non-probability sampling. So we cannot generalize the findings to all the population as a whole, but we can generalize only based on the context. So only context-bound generalizability is possible. Only if you select a particular group, we can say this type of findings are expected in this group of people based on the research. So context-bound generalizability, meaning only in that context you can generalize, not out of that context. You cannot generalize it to all the members in the population. It only may be the particular, it depends on the research. Maybe if you do something, you find something that it is can be generalizable only to this group of students who are day scholars, not hosteliers, or this is true only to the bilingual students, something like that. It is only, it can generalize the findings based on the context. And now we are going to see two terms that you should be familiar with. One is ontology and another one is epistemology. They are very often used in philosophy, philosophy of education, or philosophy of truth. So here these two, it is actually, the meaning is what we have already discussed, but the terms are different. So you should know these terms. Ontology means it concerns with the nature of reality. So we have talked about what is real, what is truth. So objective realism says that truth exists external to the mind, or independent of the mind, or external to the social actor. So here the ontology used is objective realism. So the ontology is the theory of the nature of reality. So what is the theory of while talking about the reality of nature is used in positivism is objective realism, which says that the truth exists external to the mind. It is independent of the mind. It is not influenced by the mind. There exists something outside the mind or outside the social actor, so which can be verified by empirical method or scientific method. So an epistemology is the theory of knowledge. So how to obtain the nature of the knowledge, the origin of knowledge. So that is epistemology. So ontology means the study, So ontology is the study about the nature of reality, and epistemology is the study about the knowledge. What is the knowledge like? What is the nature of knowledge? What is the origin of the knowledge? How it can be perceived? What is knowledge? What is not knowledge? All these things are concerned with epistemology. So in positivism, the ontology used is objective realism. So while talking about the nature of the reality, we always believe in objective realism in positivism. And in post-positivism, the ontology used is critical realism, because it says that the truth is not external, but it is internal to the mind. It is in the minds of the social actors. It is critical. It varies from person to person. Critical realism. So the ontology used in post-positivism is critical realism. And also the epistemology, the theory about the knowledge, is always objective reality, which is outside. So the truth, knowledge is there. You can verify it by means of scientific methods, experiments, or anything, empirical methods. And according to post-positivism, the epistemology, the theory of knowledge, is subjective. So what is truth, what is knowledge, it varies from person to person. Each one has got his own knowledge, which may be full or which may be fragmental. So the researcher has to explore various person and find out which is true and which is correct knowledge and which is not. So it is subjective. And so it's the same what we have seen earlier, but the terminologies are different. And methodology used in positivism is empiricism. So the methods of methodology, when we say methodology and methods are different. Methodology includes everything. Methodology includes methods. So it not only includes methods, you have to explain why you chose that, the reason for choosing quantitative approach. That is methodology. You choose quantitative method and you give the reason also why qualitative, why or quantitative method is chosen for your research, why mixed method is chosen. So you give the explanation also, then it becomes methodology. So methodology includes everything, why, how, which. Methods is just the methods, and method is a part of methodology. So here the methodology is empirism, always verify it by scientific methods, by census, by proving, by experiments. And in post-positivism, the methodology used is social constructivism or interpretivism. It is also, the constructivism is also called as, known as interpretism. So, because the interpretations are different from one social actor to another social actor, or from one mind to another mind. So we construct knowledge here. So the methodology used here, it's not just one researcher goes and do something and this is the truth, this is knowledge over. No, it is not so. Here the methodology is social constructivism. We get opinions from various researchers, various people, and then we explore it, we discover. So all of them together, they construct the knowledge. Both the teacher and the learner, they construct together the new knowledge from the previous knowledge. So that is constructivism. So they differ. Positivism and post-positivism differ in their ontology, they differ in their epistemology, and they differ in their methodology. The ontology is the what is reality, concerned with the nature of reality. And epistemology concerns with the theory and nature of knowledge. And methodology is the how to do it, how to prove it, the methods used. So they are diagonally opposite in both positivism and post-positivism. So in this video, we have seen two different, entirely different philosophical approach in research, and we saw how much this philosophical approaches determine the researcher's research question, and it determines their research procedure, it determines the research design, and it determines the sampling method, it determines the entire methodology. So it's all based on this philosophical paradigm, positivism and post-positivism. How do they influence the entire research process? And if you like this video, please subscribe to my channel Vaira Citadel and click the bell icon. And please let me know whether you want shorter videos, more frequently, more in number, or larger videos, so that you can cover the entire topic in one video. So which one is useful to you? Please let me know so that I can plan accordingly. Thank you. Bye bye.